BTS. I don't get the BTS thing. I'm just gonna say it right now. I don't like K-pop. I hate K-pop. I don't get BTS.
K-pop?
They look like they're just a bunch of. How did this become a thing in Western culture?
Hi, welcome to TTK. If that wasn't the worst intro we've ever done. I don't want you believing that we're just sitting there waiting for drama, but lo and behold, some drama fell into our laps, and so we decided to talk about it. I got excited to have tea. Your cup says Dad. We are responding to something that has taken Twitter by storm. It is whipping up a stink, a treat, and it's something that triggered me. So the best way to title this video is our message to H3H3 Productions. No, ew. Ethan from H3H3 said some rather scandalous things about K-pop. Scandalous. This isn't like Victorian Britain. Like, you've not just like lifted your skirt above your ankles. We'd like that, wouldn't we? Don't flash that ankle flesh, that's scandalous. Anyway, H3H3, I'm sure you know who he is. Yes, grown man wearing BTS socks. Okay, thanks for interrupting. Ethan, for you. H3H3, Ethan made some really cool videos. I like his content. I discovered him when he kind of took on the Jake Paul thing and the apocalypse thing, and he was fighting the good fight for YouTubers. But here we are in 2019 talking about K-pop. With great power comes great responsibility, and he wielded it ineffectively yesterday when he took a jab at BTS in his video where he was critiquing, what was his podcast where he was sort of looking at YouTube Rewind and discussing it, which is what we all like to do. I think that, so, where to start? Obviously the whole podcast wasn't about K-pop, it was about Rewind, and there was obviously a huge element to Rewind that was about K-pop. Mainly BTS, because it was groundbreaking. BTS and K-pop made waves on the YouTubes in 2019, and that's what YouTube Rewind did. It discussed it. The most popular 24-hour debut for a K-pop band went to BTS. Well, for music, for anyone went to BTS with Boy in Love. And the part of the podcast we are going to be discussing is a single 2-minute clip. What it did do is just concentrate all of, I feel, Western's problems with embracing K-pop. So I'm going to include it here, but not all of it, and then we'll come back, we'll regroup, and we'll discuss.
BTS. I don't get the BTS thing. I'm just gonna say it right now. I don't like K-pop. I hate K-pop. I don't get BTS.
K-pop?
They look like they're just a bunch of. How did this become a thing in Western culture where all these grown men and little girls are to little K-pop boys? It's like a little fetish. It's like a little twink gay fetish about these K-pop boys.
Does Ian have an insight on K-pop?
Ian, do you like K-pop? What do you think about BTS?
I mean, I don't like it, but I mean, it's just pop. I don't know.
Just pop music.
You know,
but you like
F
pop.
tier, easy. I don't know. I don't like the kind of the blend they do of like hip hop and then like really not that interesting pop music. I don't know. It's not for me.
It.
But I see why people like it.
But do people like it ironically? Or
No.
Because that's what I thought.
No. Dude, people are crazy on Twitter, the K-pop fans. It's so weird. All they do is post a GIF of their favorite like K-pop person dancing, and they go oops crazy. Like, I'm pretty sure that somebody's going to try to assassinate me. Like, everybody's into this K-pop phenomenon, and I don't know. It's like
I don't think it's everyone. They're just very loud.
This to me reeks of when kids at school would bash something they don't understand because they thought it would make them cooler. Yes. So it's like when, if you liked Pokemon or if you liked anime at school, somebody would like point to their friends about, look, this is stupid. I hate it. Don't you hate it? Because look at him, he likes it. So look, that's stupid. Like that's going in the video. I don't know. That's what reminds me of like being. Honey, you feel pressed. No. I'm not saying that's what he's doing, but it just really reminds me of when you were at school, when you liked something different, and the kids at school would try and make that some kind of belittle you. No, they would try and make that some kind of gap in your armor to that prod you and poke you, and it doesn't work. Like, it doesn't. Which that's why I really like K-pop at the moment, because kids on the internet are unafraid to like it, and when people come for them, that's why this tweet trended, and this is why this blew up on the internet, because, and I said kids, but again, I'm a K-pop fan, I'm not a kid, nearly 28 actually. Yeah, I use kids as like people on the internet. How did this become a thing in Western culture? Hun, this is coming from a guy who lives in a country that produced Boyzone. Like, let's talk about NSYNC. Like, let's talk about all these boy groups that came before that are kind of the cookie cutter mold for New Kids on the Block. New Kids on the Block for like K-pop based itself off of. Why did this become a thing in Western culture? Because it's almost hubris. Like, why are you saying is Western culture this place that is untouchable for other music industry? I don't understand what this point is, because it's almost like saying this other. How can this other invade us? It's not us v them. It's coming from the same place as a lot of articles in the In the UK, we have a lot of articles written from the perspective of like, here's this alien thing doing well. Now let's try and understand how on earth could this be doing well. This phenomenon is invading our charts. Like, it's attacking our artists. Sigrid is from Norway, and there's no articles written about her being like, wow, this Norwegian person is doing well in the charts. Louis Fonsi on a track with Clean Bandit. How could this happen? Like, what is this? There must be some secret to this success. I just think this is just such an outdated view of things, because it's not an us v them, and it's not like a Western culture is on this pedestal that can't have Asian music in it. I don't understand this point. I think I understand what I do get. Let's talk about H3H3. He's kind of, his brand is about being slightly controversial, not as in like he's going to go and punch a child, but it's more along the lines of he's going to say some outrageous things to see what lands and to see what gets traction. It's a kind of like a Ricky Gervais thing, or even in the UK, like you have YouTubers like Jackmate or drama channels that will say stuff deliberately to cause controversy. He's saying these things because he knows they're going to land funnily, or they're going to cause a bit of like, people are going to raise an eyebrow. But actually this was a bit over the line, because he said a few things that basically took what K-pop is fighting against as an industry in America, and he basically condensed it down to one sentence, and it was like, cool. It's a real low blow as well when you start assaulting or attacking something because of how it looks. Like, surely I thought in 2019 we've kind of moved beyond the point where things aren't just taken at face value. Like, you don't just see, I get where this is coming from, and I know, you know, America is a victim of its own toxic sort of masculine mindset, but when you see all these very pretty, attractive guys dancing around with colourful hair on the surface, obviously that goes kind of against the grain for what it is in American culture to be popular. You don't judge a book by its cover. Come on, I learnt that from Barney when I was a kid. Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't make your mind up too soon. Things aren't necessarily always what
Did you have some secret upbringing?
Do you not remember that?
Barney was not big in my life.
Never let the water... Yeah, but he just says he hates it, and that's what confuses me, because like, how can you hate it? You can not enjoy it. And I don't hate anything. What I will say is I think the other guy in the video is called Ian, and what he does say, which is kind of like me when a friend expresses a viewpoint that I don't agree with. It's kind of like you try and see from their point of view, but what he does say is, look, I don't like it, but I get why people do like it. Yeah. And he didn't say like, I hate it because this, that and that. He just says, I don't like it. He kind of gives his reason for not liking it. He said it's not his sort of thing. He might listen to heavy rock for all we know. Which is fine. And that's fine. At least he gave justification. But my problem with this is, and it's not just H3H3 that does this. No. Ethan's not the only person guilty. So we're not just jumping on a bandwagon here. We do want to talk about it more broadly. And I think that K-pop has this, especially BTS for some reason, and I think girl groups traditionally faced it, where it's a focus on the looks and the superficialness of pop music. But I'm not being funny, Britney Spears and Katy Perry and even people, you know, way back as Madonna, they make superficial pop, but it has a message, and I think that's fine. That is fine. There's no gatekeeper to the pop industry, and it's definitely not H3H3. And also, I just think if you judging something at face value doesn't give you the whole picture. I think all you need to do is a very, very surface Google to see what BTS have been up to in at least the past year, like talking at the UN, proliferating this message of self-love and speaking yourself, which isn't something you typically see, particularly in American music, at least what's blowing up on the charts, is that obviously K-pop as an industry from South Korea has a very different culture around it. In South Korea, the music industry is very different, and it's just now coming onto the global stage, and these are things that everyone's slowly getting used to. But what I will say is there's a wider conversation that needs to happen around K-pop fans online, with fan cams being posted in inappropriate hashtags, which we've discussed before. You know, there are definitely some hashtags that do not need a twice fan cam in them.
Remembrance Day, things like that.
There's some tones here that need to be tread carefully, and also allowing people to have other opinions that aren't necessarily your own without bringing them down. And again, I really do appreciate this was said in a very negative way, so you were allowed to be offended. And I'm assuming a lot of these fans are also K-pop fans too. On Twitter, which is where this all kind of happens, you don't really post about K-pop on Facebook. These Twitter accounts...
I don't post about anything on Facebook.
I think what people forget and what fans forget is that, you know, you could have someone that's actually about to get into K-pop, but then have this account that's really representing the band being inappropriate and problematic. But that Twitter, you know, it's a bigger problem that I think people don't really talk about. Twitter, in general, is a place where you're not allowed to have your own opinion unless it agrees with the majority of the user base or the majority of the vocal user base, because regardless of what that opinion is, whether that's political or a comment on a film, unless you're agreeing with the consensus or the vocal part of Twitter, you will get torn down. So I think there is a larger conversation there as well, but I do think that when it comes to fandoms defending their artist, I get where it comes from. It's from a place of passion and trying to drive that person higher, but it does come across as very alienating and very disruptive to someone today on Twitter. I'm not out here to cancel Ethan. Like, he's allowed his opinion.
Well, Twitter was trying to cancel him.
Twitter was trying to cancel, and I think we should actually, as fans of anything, take the time to denounce that behaviour, because I strongly oppose cancelling anyone. Mob mentality. Ethan is allowed his opinion. We should therefore, you know, respect his freedom of speech and let him have his opinion and stop trying to cancel everyone. I think there's ways of saying things that doesn't attack someone's interest at face value or demean someone for liking something or try and poke fun at someone, and stop attacking fans for being weird, because let's just take one quick look at UK football fans, American baseball fans. Have you seen how wild these people get? Like, that's weird. Have you seen adult men talking about football?
They cry over a sport.
Yeah, they come out of concerts, come out of football matches in tears.
That's weird.
I think that's weird, but I'm not going to sit here and attack football fans. Like, I don't really care about the World Cup. Am I getting cancelled for it? If I said online, maybe.
Obviously, there are levels to everything we're saying, and I would posit that Ethan has said some pretty outrageous stuff in there, especially when it comes to the sexualization of these groups on behalf of their fans. Like, he's just assuming that he's putting that on them. So that's his view that he's projecting onto the K-pop fandom and K-pop as an industry. So I would say, again, there are levels to cancelling people, and there's a difference between cancelling someone and calling them out, but I do think that Twitter tends to veer towards just cancelling someone and not calling them out.
I think calling out is good because it allows someone to know they've done something wrong, and
grow
it gives
from
them
it.
space to grow. I think, honestly, the worst export for America in the past 100 years has been Hollywood masculine culture, where it's like
toxic masculinity.
Toxic masculinity is just so negative.
That's in the UK as well. That's not just from Hollywood.
And yeah, I think a lot of these comments are rooted from a place of insecurity and toxic masculinity, and I'm out here saying, do you know what? Wear your eyeliner, go and paint your nails, pierce your ears, do what you want to do, wear bright colours. 10 years ago, you wouldn't see men wearing pink in the UK. And where are we now?
You say wear bright colours, but we only ever wear black.
Ethan said something very ugly, and it needed unpacking, because I personally feel, for whatever reason, it represents all of the hurdles that K-pop faces in Western culture, in the sense that, you know, they wear makeup or they wear feminine clothing. BTS did a photo shoot where I think J-Hope was wearing a kilt, and I'm pretty sure. Sick. Yeah. But I think they represents the hurdles they're facing in toxic masculinity. And speaking about it is a cool thing. I would like to know your opinions.
Yep.
Is everything we just said wrong? I would like to know that as well. Maybe let me down slowly because I can't handle it. Call us out on Twitter. Get a hashtag friend in. All it does. Niki and Sammy. I certainly don't think he's a bad guy. Just disagree with his opinion on this. And I also think that in context of the situation, this was an hour and 20-minute long podcast.
Yes.
They don't edit it. I mean, his opinion, I think, was very problematic in itself. However, they didn't edit it.
Would I have edited that out? I mean, I wouldn't have said it in the first place, but yes, I would have edited that out. He's chasing views and listens, so he needs to say controversial stuff, but I think he went a bit far and he needed to be told that. However, the reaction online has been pretty aggressive. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure you press the subscribe button and the bell next to it and press allow all notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos. It gives you 40/40 vision and great teeth. Big thank you to all of this month's Patreons. Your names are down there. We're sending out Christmas cards. I've got them. If you become a Patreon before the 14th of December, all of the links are in the description and the pinned comment. And we'll see you guys again next time. Bye!